In this episode of Unboxed SEO, I'm going to show you how we fix the search traffic of this solar panel installer. So, one of the things I do when looking to fix the search traffic of any site is first take a little look around and just see how the site is, because first impressions count. Now, in this case, we can see that, oh, well, look at that big pop-up that's just come up. A little bit later in the video, I'm going to be talking about why this is an issue. But as we can see, it's scrollable pop-up. We have to scroll up and down in order to deal with it. But let's close that out of the way for now. Now, right now, for me, this page is very cluttered. There's no clear call to action. The pop-up down in this bottom left corner is not done right. We're displaying like a who is information on the home page. I understand that's to prove the authenticity of the age of the business, but you know, it's pretty obvious to me that this is a tech dude who's done this rather than a marketer, right? But in general, for me, the design is quite cluttered, especially above the fold. There's no clear call to action. And if we move through the site and take a look at things, you can see, look, this pop-up is on every page I'm about to show. It isn't wrapping round properly, and again, at the end here, there's no clear call to action. We're not using any internal linking here or anything like that, so there's quite a lot of weakness in the content. Pricing page, again, annoying pop-up. For me, the pricing page should just be clear, simple pricing and allow people to convert, whether that's submit an inquiry or buy a product or whatever that may be. Now, on this site, we're essentially looking for people to submit inquiries. Despite the fact that there's a cart, there's no products to buy, so that's another kind of misleading area of the site that should be removed. But take a look at this pricing page, and as I scroll down it, it's very hard for you to really gauge how much does it cost and what do I get for my money. We've got lots of kind of pop-up text and things. I understand here we're talking about different systems and the prices, but the format in here is kind of all over the place. It's difficult to read, it's difficult to digest, and this will be hurting conversion. So overall, one of the big problems we have is it doesn't leave a great first impression. It doesn't communicate clearly the benefits of the business, the costs. There's no clear call to actions. Now, this site suffers from quite a few fundamental SEO errors, but there's also remnants of some old SEO strategies that just don't work anymore. So let's take a look at that. If you take a look at this article, for example, what we used to do way back when was we'd write 500-word articles to about 3% keyword density. We'd bold the keywords and we'd capitalize them, and we'd do all kinds of things, and then Panda came along and destroyed us. In this article, we can see they're doing that right here. This is about a 500-word piece. We're using the keywords in bold, German solar panels review. We're capitalizing the start of each word, and I'm pretty sure if we look on the page here, we'll see that it's used quite a lot and not used in context. It doesn't make sense. This is just spam written for search engines, right? But this is how we used to do it. And if you went and did a Google search for German solar panels review right now, you're going to see significantly better quality content on the first page. So this is a fundamental error because it's a strategy that no longer works. SEO has kind of evolved, and the bar to entry has risen in that time. So this is something that needs to be taken care of or removed because it's not helping the site as it stands. On top of that, as we scroll through a lot of content, we see some quite ambitious usage of coloured words and making things stand out. And in my opinion, this detracts from the quality of the page. It makes you seem a little bit spammy. It's almost like I'm reading a special offer on Warrior Forum or a sales page or anything. It doesn't feel like I'm on a site that I'm going to trust to come and install solar panels in my house, right? This seems more of an affiliate approach, if that makes sense. So I'd like to clean any uses up of wild colored text and things. If you need to make text stand out, bold and underline is just fine. On occasions you can use red, but very minimal, and really try to keep that to a minimum. As well, here we're seeing this is something I see quite a lot when I review sites. This is a category page, but what they've done here is they've set the category page to only return one result on each page. So if we click through this category page, you're going to see each time it's just a single article result. And now that causes quite a big problem, because if we jump into Screaming Frog, overview site structure, here you can see the crawl depth. Now you want nearly all of your URLs to be accessible from the home page within 3 clicks. You don't really want to go any more than that, but you'll see here that the vast majority of the URLs on this page are 10 clicks away from the home page. So if we come to the force directory tree diagram, you can see that right here. This big cluster of no indexed category pages. This is a home page, and this is what we're seeing here. So that's something that you absolutely must pay attention to. And in WordPress, it's actually quite an easy fix. All you have to do is go into the reading settings and just change how many posts get published on an archive page. It's really easy. But on top of that, there's also some other fundamental SEO errors. Now, I ran the site audit with Ahrefs. It picks up a bunch of errors and outputs a health score like this, so you can kind of get a KPI on how well you're performing or underperforming. These audits run automatically every week, so every week you get a report, and if any new errors have been found, you get alerted to that immediately, so you can fix them when the error exists and not when you get penalized, which is what most people do, right? So in this report here, we can see there's a number of issues: broken links, meta descriptions, empty. We can view all the issues. All of these are what I consider really fundamental SEO issues that you must take care of. Pages to broken links, 404s, we've got pages no indexed, that's all of the category pages and the subcategory pages that we looked at. And just general issues that all need to be fixed. So we'd like to get all of these general issues taken care of. We want to get all of this kind of old school usage of content and keywords taken care of. We want to remove all of the kind of spammy colored text. We want to make sure that we're only showing around 10 articles per category page, and of course take care of all of these fundamental SEO issues. Remember, SEO breaks down to 3 parts: technical SEO, content and links, and here we don't have the fundamental SEO taken care of. Now, one of the things this site suffers from is its use of intrusive pop-ups that completely block the navigation experience. Here you can see it pop, and not only does the pop-up not fit all on the page, you have to scroll down. Arguably what's being communicated isn't really that important, and there isn't a clear call to action. There's no benefit to the pop-up really. It's just intrusive and it gets in the way. And this pop-up, no matter how many times you close it and how many pages you visit, always pops up and opens. So we'll leave these pages to load in the background. But first, why is this important? Well, way back in 2017, Google made an update that essentially penalized you if you had intrusive pop-ups that block the navigation experience, especially on mobile. And, well, as you can guess, this happens on mobile as well. So here's an example of a pop-up that makes content less accessible, and this is an intrusive pop-up. It pops up, you cannot continue your browsing or navigating experience until you close it. Google absolutely hates these on mobile. On desktop you get a little bit more leeway, but on mobile, anything that blocks the experience is considered bad and leads to problems. There are times when you can use pop-ups on mobile, and that's when you're doing cookie requests or age verification, and you can do little banners that only take up a small portion of the page, but you cannot do what is being done here, and especially on mobile. And you shouldn't really be doing it on desktop like this. It should be clear, concise, short to the point, call to action, and actually increase conversion. This is taking away from conversion. This is especially important if you go to Google Search Console and settings. You can see if Google switched you to mobile first indexing. If they did, and you see Googlebot smartphone here, that means that Google are crawling your site from a mobile platform, and with that crawl they're hitting this pop-up, which they're telling us they introduced a penalty for. So that pop-up must be removed on mobile and reduced to actually serve conversion on desktop. Next, let's talk about Google authenticity signals, or some people call them EAT signals, but I look at it a little bit of a different way. I believe that the Medic update wasn't targeting Medic at all. What it was actually doing was making websites in search results accountable. That means that Google wants to know when they're sending traffic to your site, they want to know that you're an accountable person or business that is responsible for the content you've published. They want to know that you're a real person or a real individual and not some anonymous spammer, right? Now, how can we do that? In general, if you're a business, it's really easy. You just add your business information into the footer, you add your business address. This site's based in Australia. I'm pretty sure you're legally required to display your ABN, your Australian business number, in the footer. So the quick win Google authenticity signals is to make sure that your company registration info, your address, and your phone number are all present in your footer. They should also be on your about page and on your contact page. Let's just open contact 1 minute here. Now in this case you can see we've got a phone number. It's not clickable or anything like that, but there's no address or anything like that. On top of that, one of the easy ways to add authenticity to your business or your affiliate site or whatever it is with your about page. Now, Daniel's about page, it's kind of confusing. There's two. First of all, we have, if we click on why KLD Solar and Lighting, this leads us to this page, which is then about Brisbane solar reviews and installation, and then starts talking about the company. But it's also trying to talk about reviews and best solar products, and there's kind of a bit of a disconnect here. This should be an about page. It should be here. It should be at /about, and it should be all about the company, the owner, the factory, the premises, photos of in-stores, photos of the team, photos of the vans if you've got the branded vans on the side. Something that makes you real and accountable, right? If you're an affiliate, that's easy to do. Some shots of you out and about doing your thing, but you've got to be a real accountable person or business. And there's a disconnect here because we have this kind of about page that's a mismatch, but then if we come here and go about the author, then we reach this about the author page, which is kind of an about the business page, but there's a disconnect, right? And in my opinion, you can be presenting a much more professional image than you are doing right now. So these two pages, the about the author and the YQLD solar pages, need consolidating into a single about page that, and this pop-up is driving me nuts, let me tell you that. You need to consolidate those into a single about page that puts your best best foot forward that lets Google know and lets any visitors know that you're a real company and or individual. I feel like right now Daniel's probably underselling himself and the business with these 2 pages, and it's amazing how many companies and especially affiliate sites suffer from the same problem. So Google authenticity signals: name, company name, address, phone number, business registration information in the footer, on the about page, on the contact page. Then make sure you've got an outstanding about page that puts your best foot forward. If you're an affiliate, well, look, if you're not putting an address or anything like that, you are an anonymous spammer as far as Google's concerned. So you need to put an address. If you need a phone number, you can use a service like CallRail, have it direct to voicemail. It transcribes a voicemail, sends it to your email. There's lots of solutions to do it, but Google want to see accountable websites in their results, so you got to give them what they want. Now, let me show you how we go about doing structured data reviews. We always do a structured data review for the home page and the contact page, and then for any other page types that the site has. For example, if it's a blog, we'll do an article page. If it's a blog that publishes reviews like this, we'll take a look at the review page. If it's an e-commerce site that sells products, we'll take a look at the product page. And we use the Google structured data testing tool to do that. Now, this is a business, so what I'm expecting to see is organization structured data with the business name, address, and phone number. So let's take a look. We can use a structured data testing tool to do that, and within here we'll see that they've set it as a web page, and actually within the web page is the organization code that we'd like to see. But as we scroll down here, and let me move me out of the way, you'll see that there is no organization information like phone number or address or anything like that. So that's a weakness of the homepage structured data. Moving to the contact page here, again, we're expecting to see organization structured data with phone number and address. Moving down and scrolling down, you won't see that here. They have got the phone number in the description, but that's not where Google wants to see it. There's a dedicated field as part of the organization. In fact, the organization markup, yeah, it's here. It's a dedicated field, phone number, address, and if you are a business, you need that information. If you're an affiliate website, you also need that information. Otherwise, you're just an anonymous spammer and you're fighting an uphill battle. Looking at the review page, we would also expect to see review structured data in the markup here, which we just don't have. Sometimes it's buried away within the article in at type, but we've got type, website, organization, search action, person, web page. We've got no review in there, and that's what allows those little Google stars to show up in the search results. So there's quite a few structured data issues here. Luckily, structured data problems are really easy to fix for the most part, and it really depends on what type of site you've got. If you've got an e-commerce site with product pages, run the test, see if you've got any errors. Don't worry about if you have warnings. Warnings are fine, but if you've got an error, you've got to fix it. Now, page speed is a ranking factor for Google, but it's also a ranking factor for humans. If your site is slow, it will rank lower, and when you do get traffic, it will convert less. So, having a slow site is like having a weight around your neck, and you're facing uphill battles unnecessarily. It's so easy to fix, and I'm going to show you how. In terms of this site, let's look at the Google mobile page speed scores. This is, in my opinion, the most important page speed KPI right now, the mobile page speed score. And we want to see scores of 60 and above. On this site, however, we're getting like 2, 5, 9, 10, 11. There's a lot of work to do. Now, we're using batchspeed.com. This will go out and do bulk Google page speed testing across your site and bring back this really handy table of information. On top of that, in May, Google, May 2021, Google are going to make Core Web Vitals. That's if you go into Google Search Console, you can see this Core Web Vitals report, but they're going to make this part of the ranking algorithm. They're giving us a heads up on that. Now, since this site dropped in traffic, it hasn't really posted any Core Web Vitals at all. But before it got nuked, we can see that it was all poor URLs. So we've got some work to do, but I'm going to show you how nearly anyone running WordPress can take care of this in about 10 minutes. First, you're going to install the WP Rocket plugin. Alongside that, we're going to use the Imagify image compression tool. Now, once you've installed WP Rocket, it's super easy. It takes like 5 minutes to configure. I'm going to click through it with you now. Dashboard basic. On the cache, enable a cache for mobile devices. File optimization, optimize CSS delivery, load JavaScript deferred, delay JavaScript execution. On media, tick these 3 boxes at the top. We're going to lazy load images, iframes, YouTube videos, and replace them with thumbnails. We're going to add missing image dimensions. Preload you can leave at default, advanced rules you can leave at default, database you can run through these optimizations to clean up your database, very much recommended. Add your CDN. WP Rocket provide their own CDN service called Rocket CDN, so I've integrated that there. You just paste it in here, you tick this box, it's done. 5 seconds, CDN integration, that's all it takes. Heartbeat, you can control a heartbeat, reduce the activity, and in the add-ons we're going to optimize Google tracking, Facebook Pixel as well. What WP Rocket also does is optimize your use of Google fonts. And we missed one part here, which is image compression. And let me go back. Image compression is done with the Imagify plugin, and that just goes through. It takes all of the images in your WordPress site and compresses them based on your settings. And as you can see, the back end of this website is very slow and takes a little while to load, so no doubt that's affecting the front end load time as well. Once we've deployed WP Rocket, we deployed the CDN. It took around 5 or 10 minutes to do, as you can see, just clicking through those settings if you follow me. Now, when we run the batch speed score, instead of seeing scores of like 2, 8, 10, 12, we're now pushing into the 30s and the 50s in some cases. So in just a few minutes, you can make significant improvements to your site speed. Now, the minimum KPI you want for mobile Google page speed is 60, and you can see we're still a little way off there. Why? Well, as you saw then, clicking around the back end of WordPress is kind of slow. And if we use web page test, we can take a look here, and the page is less than a megabyte. There's not many requests. We're posting some pretty good web vitals, but despite that, we're seeing a fully loaded time of over 5 seconds. And if we come to the after Google PageSpeed Insights results, we can see, yeah, right, we're posting a better score now. But if we scroll down, the main issue is reduce initial server response time. So that to me suggests that despite doing the optimization with the plugin, which everyone needs to do, the hosting is letting this site down. Now, the only way to fix that is to move host. I have a dedicated video, the fastest WordPress hosting case study. We put 12 WordPress hosts to the test, compared them all to see which is really the fastest host. And this site could certainly benefit with moving hosting. So let's talk about how to find and remove bad backlinks. Now, my blog gets several backlink based attacks a year, so I'm pretty well seasoned when it comes to this. But for most people, if you look into Ahrefs and you see a huge increase in referring domains like this, or huge increases in referring pages like this, you might have a backlink based problem. The easiest way to find out if you do or not is with link research tools. There isn't a better tool on the planet to audit backlink profiles. There isn't even a close second, third, fourth, or even fifth. It's just the tool to use. Now, the main KPI this gives you is the detox risk score. You can see we have a risk score of 3,500 nearly. And Link Research Tools goes through your entire link profile and it makes recommendations and reviews. So we can see we've got links from 2,200 domains with an unavailable status. One of the negative SEO attacks it's used is they increase the amount of referring domains to you and then drop it like that, and this is one way of doing that. We've got 3,500 links with a very high detox risk. We've got 2,000 links coming from a PBN. So let's take a look. If we review these links that it says are a very high risk, Link Research Tools will actually tell us here why it thinks it's a high risk. So we can click on these rules and it tells us, okay, this is suspicious because it's a link from a page which doesn't have any external links on a weak domain. It's a link coming from a probably a new or very weak domain, and they've calculated a high detox risk score and the algorithms classified it as unnatural. And we can see here the anchor texts that are being used are about wallpapers, and we don't have any wallpapers on this site. So Link Research Tools is doing its job here. So all you need to do is work through this and click fix. You know, links sound a very high fix. Disavow all domains. And you work through this list and it adds the domains to a disavow file which you just download, and then you just come to the disavow tool and submit it here. So as you can see, there's been something went on here and something went on here, and we were able to confirm that with the detox risk score. So we just need to work through this, generate the disavow file, and then we can recalculate our risk, and that's it. That is precisely how to find and remove bad backlinks step by step. So let me show you how to build a simple link building strategy. Now, looking at this site, I see that it's low authority, DR6, and when you're dealing with a low authority site like this, it's very important that your link building strategy builds half of the links to the home page and half of the links to the inner page. Why? Because the higher authority your site, the easier it is to rank the internal pages. So if you're dealing with a new site or a low authority site like this, it's important that you build half the links to the home page, which increases the authority of the site and increases the rankings of all inner pages. You raise the authority, it raises all ships, right? That's why it's important that you do it 50-50 homepage, inner pages. So how do you select which inner pages to build links to? Well, I use Google Search Console, and in this site, if you remember, it got penalized. So I'm just comparing the before and after here. And here we can see previously one of the most trafficked pages was Soulless Inverter Review, 1,600 clicks before. Now it's only getting 25 in a 3-month period. And I use this report in this example to pick out which pages we're going to optimize before, because we know Google loved this page before, so it's going to love it again. Okay. If you haven't had a penalty and you haven't had a drop, then you can just select which pages first of all align to your business's commercial intent, and then those that are in average positions of kind of 5, 6, 7, 8, they usually benefit from just a little bit of link building. So now we know which pages and keywords we want to target. Now we need to figure out how many links to build. To do that, if you look in Ahrefs here, we can see the solar panels of Brisbane, keyword difficulty 22, one of the most important keywords, but Soulless Inverter Review, which was the most trafficked keyword before, keyword difficulty 3. So how do we figure out how many links to build? Well, if we look at the solar panels Brisbane keyword here, we can scroll down and look at the current search results. And we can find our target site down here, position 13, DR6 for domains, backlinks from 4 domains. Now, what I do is use the power of observation here. Let's look through the top 10 and find which site is closest to us in terms of DR. And here you can see there's a DR12 here, position 6, 19 domains. So if we click into that and we filter for do follow domains only, we can see that they have backlinks from 18 different domains, and actually some of these are irrelevant and I know that that's a guest post, and some are web 2. So not a terribly strong link profile, but it gives us an idea of where we need to be, right? Right now we can see that we only have 4 linking domains. And out of those, only 2 are do follow. So there's about a 15 domain gap between where we are and where the competition is. And that's how you get a very kind of top-down look at how many links do I need to build to close that gap. Now, remember, half of the link building strategy is going to be to the home page, because we're only a DR6 right now, and we're seeing that it's a minimum DR12 to compete here, and then we can compete on the backlink level metrics afterwards. It's not a problem. So let's take a look at one of the other keywords, Solace Inverter Review. Before, this was bringing like 1,600 people, and now it's bringing like 20. So let's take a look at what we're up against here. And here, this is our result in position number 5, DR6, 1 backlink. But we can see above us some higher strength pages, DR64, DR40, 7 domains, 4 domains, and these guys are ranking out of the authority of their site rather than the strength of the page. So if we look at this one with 4 links, they're all no follow, so it's actually ranking there with 0 links. If we look at the one above it, which I believe had 7 links, and how many of those do follow? Only 3 of them are, and in my opinion they're not very strong links at all. So looking at the results of this, you can conclude that with only 2 or 3 good links will be enough to break the top 3, if not bring you into the number 1 position, where there's a DR14 ranking with 0 links. We're a DR6. If we put 2, maybe 3 decent links on it, that will be enough to bring it up into the top of the search result. So we need about 10 links to the other page, 2 or 3 here, and then we'd want to build some to the home page as well. What's the easiest way to build those links? Well, you've got a couple of options. The easiest way, though, is to use links that rank, which is my link building service. You just choose how many links you want here based on what kind of DRs you need from your analysis, and you hit checkout. Now, we pay a lot of attention to quality control. We're checking for various signals throughout, and we're making sure that there's no right for us pages, the links are on real sites with organic traffic from Google, because if Google's trusting a site with traffic, then we can trust it to link to us. We're also checking that link placements aren't authored, there's no author bios, no mention of sponsored post or write for us or guest post or anything like that. And I can't stress enough how strict we are on quality control, top to bottom. So that's the easiest way to build a simple link building strategy. You need to see where you are right now. If you've got a low authority to the domain, you need half the links to the home page, half the links to inner pages. You can use the power of observation to see where you are now in comparison to your competitors, and then figure out exactly how many links you need to close that gap. Now, this site suffered from a number of fundamental SEO errors like pagination and broken links. On top of that, it features this really annoying pop-up at every opportunity that must be fixed immediately. It's lacking Google authenticity signals throughout. They didn't take full advantage of structured data opportunities. There are weaknesses with site speed that need improving. We need to find and remove bad backlinks. It looks like they had some problem there. And then put together a simple link building strategy to give those specific inner pages a little tickle and bring them back to to life while building the overall authority of the domain. So, to say thank you to Daniel and the Queensland Solar and Lighting team, I'm going to make sure they have access to their own Ahrefs account, which will allow them to track search rankings, get all of the competitive SEO data they need, and perform site audits. They're also going to get WP Rocket, which will seriously speed their site up. They're going to get Screaming Frog to really delve down into any technical issues. They're going to get Imagify to compress all of their images and make it super fast. They're going to get link research tools to help find and remove bad backlinks, and they're going to get a copy of Surfer SEO, which will make sure they're only publishing super optimized content. On top of that, my team are going to support them with link building. We're going to start an outreach campaign for them this afternoon, and I'm going to give them a copy of my step-by-step SEO strategy and course that teaches you how to increase the search traffic of any site step by step, no matter where you're starting from. Now, if you like SEO and you want to learn more, feel free to check out my free resources, matthewwoodward.co.uk/SEO. The SEO portal here has everything you need, from what is SEO through to keyword research, link building strategies, and awesome case studies you can't find anywhere else. Other than that, please like and subscribe and leave a comment under the video if you've got any questions whatsoever. I will answer them personally. If you're suffering from any of the issues that we've discussed in this video, let me know below and I'll be happy to help you. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you want to be featured in the next episode of Unboxed SEO, just fill out the application form below.